Hi, friends. Basically, this may end up being an extra video, not this week. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell either way, but I am going by when I talked with my team, my guides, about when to release this video, and they said it should be an extra video on the week of the 15th. So apparently, if you're seeing this video, it's probably coming out on the 15th, unless and the reason I wanted to get it out into the YouTube sphere sooner is that it came up today. There are a couple of reasons that I wanted to record either way. I wanted to address, sometimes people come to my YouTube and they're like, wow, like there's something wrong with this person who isn't like making pretty thumbnails and isn't hiding like visible neurodivergence and stuff, and that is by design. That's why it took me about 10 years to be ready to be on YouTube, because I knew that if I was going to be there, I would be visible, and for a lot of different reasons, but mainly I wanted to address that. It's true that, like, for some people, they feel like they've never met a disabled person before, and it's usually not really true, but really people have this idea like they've never met a disabled person before, and also that we're not really contributing. I mean, it's a deep rabbit hole, and I'm not saying this out of anger or anything, but one of the reasons I wanted to start my channel, I don't give readings, but I have a lot of knowledge from sort of being on the edges of the industry for the majority of my life, and I opened up and I had abilities multiple times in my life, like it was coming in stages and stuff. So that was all like, I don't know, it must have been in my life plan. Like it's definitely a huge part of my life. And I also want to address, this is not about being like anyone's personal magical disabled person, because I've been in that role. In like, sometimes people are like, oh my goodness, you're disabled and so magical. And then you have the other side where they'll be like, how could you be disabled and be like, valued by the other side? Like, why would you have abilities if you're disabled? So people have all kinds of assumptions that they try to sort of like bring into the interaction with me. So basically, I decided that if I was going to be on YouTube, I would be visible, and then I had to be like mentally ready to be visible, because there was like a lot of stuff I had to work through about fear of being seen, especially because people will come to my YouTube and be like, there is something, like, I can tell something is wrong with you. It's like, yeah, that's because disabled people exist. And I mean, honestly, a lot of people who are content creators are thriving because they are neurodivergent and they're able to share their knowledge base online much easier than some other situations. The internet has always been like that since it got into anyone's homes. I've been on the internet since it was first in people's homes. And but one reason that I will never become like a daily YouTuber is that I had a very serious internet addiction, and I don't say that lightly. Like, the way that people are addicted now, I had serious internet addiction, and it has shaped my life. And I was even like really, really into YouTube, and I thought I would be like so into YouTube if I was into YouTube and then creating for YouTube. And then, of course, like I saw all the statistics and everything, and how much YouTube creators are tracked. And it sort of cured me of, like, I was like, I gotta get some control of this. So I do have like sort of bottlenecks on my internet activity now, and I actually like kicked my addiction to Facebook in particular. I still use YouTube. I'm still creating on YouTube. I'm not quitting YouTube, but I also keep an eye on my activity, which is a thing that you can do under your own. If you click your own picture, you can find at the very, very bottom your time watched, and you can set a control. And at first I was like, why would I ever do that? I love YouTube so much. But then when I did set it, I felt so much better, and I realized how much like energy was going into watching YouTube videos. I realized that it was actually exhausting. So now I do keep an eye on that. So there are a lot of factors why I'm visible, why I am not like, making really pretty thumbnails and stuff. Although I basically have quit other social media at this point. So I probably will be working on the YouTube sort of enough to, I don't know if I'll ever be like making wonderful, wonderful thumbnails. I don't know. I am getting some stamina back because I'm spending less time scrolling. I honestly am getting some stamina back. I'm eating better. I'm drinking better, like more water. What I mean by that. Like, I'm drinking more water. I don't know. I just got sick of my own, like, addiction to it. And then another thing that happened was that I told a couple of friends, and some of my friends who started out in that, like, addicted space with me, like, they were like, oh, this is like, we don't like you anymore. So I actually lost friends because I was working on my internet addiction. And so anyway, that's the too long story of why I'll never be like a daily YouTube creator, because I am watching my own internet use pretty religiously at this point. Religiously, not in the literal sense. I am not religious, but I'm watching carefully, I guess, is a better word. Anyway, those are all the factors with why I wanted to do a YouTube to begin with. And then I branched out into like how to make certain practices accessible, because this is not really talked about. And then I branched also into making tarot more accessible to myself. And I want to continue that conversation as energy allows, because it's a big conversation, and it's like kind of talked about, but like people don't, it's a complicated topic. It's complicated for people that wouldn't want to talk about it in terms of accessibility, I find. But all tarot preferences and stuff boil down to accessibility stuff for different people. I have various criteria, and I don't pull my cards as often as I would want to because of accessibility concerns. And so I do want to continue that conversation on this channel in general. And because it came up today in comments of somebody else's community post, I wanted to get this video out sooner, because I'm ahead of my YouTube schedule, but I guess that according to, well, I'm going to put it on the 15th because it was mentioned to me by my team, but also 15 is my lucky number anyway. And so I might as well put it on the 15th because that seems to be the consensus over here. And I haven't done one of these little explainer videos in terms of like other things related to me. Like I did develop abilities. It may be because I had like a difficult birth, like a lot of mediums have had a difficult birth, and then you're kind of always walking between the worlds. And I had something at least very close to an NDE, a near-death experience. Sometimes I call it an NDE. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't know. Not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating events, but some people have said there's no way that's really an NDE because I have a ton of features. I did like a survey about it and realized I had a ton of features of it. But still, some people will always say that it's not really an NDE. So I don't know. It is what it is. So anyway, those are the qualifications I have. I've been basically opening to mediumship since I was 8 years old, and I'm not young. I'm not young, and but I don't. It's not my calling, and so I'm just sort of like someone who comments on being on the outskirts of sort of the community in a variety of ways. And I do mediumship and I study a little bit every day. I do. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope that gives you some clarity on what this channel is about. And I will figure out a title and I will schedule this for the 15th. Even though we will already have a Monday video that week. Have a wonderful week, and if you would like to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, that's all great stuff.